Your mother doesn't know what she's talking about. You spend every other weekend with me.
I hate you. No stupid judge is gonna tell me what to do. I can make my own decisions. Mom is all I need. I hate you and I never want to come back here again. You're not a real father and you never have been.
I don't understand. What happened? Am I such a bad father? Do I deserve this? How can she go from loving me to hating me? What happened to the sweet little girl I used to know?
You are watching this show because someone thinks there could be a problem in your family. You may not like a parent very much. You may not want to spend time with that parent. Or maybe you haven't seen that parent for a long time. Or maybe someone is worried that you might reject a parent. We call this problem alienation.
Alienation happens most in families where a child's parents live apart from each other. Experts estimate that as many as 250,000 children suffer from this problem, and it affects not just the children and the parent they're rejecting, because very often when a child rejects one parent, he or she will reject grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, an entire side of their family. It's a terrible tragedy for everyone.
What is alienation? Not a nation of aliens. Alienated doesn't mean an alien ate something. It doesn't mean an alien was eaten by something else, and alienated doesn't mean someone was turned into an alien. So what does alienation really mean? Alienation is when you don't like someone that used to be important to you. Alienation isn't just losing interest or being bored with what you used to like. When you're alienated, you have strong negative feelings, such as feeling disillusioned or disappointed.
Feeling disappointed or disillusioned is a key part of what it means to feel alienated. Another feeling that goes along with being alienated is anger, sometimes even hatred toward the person being rejected.
If you feel this way, you may also feel lonely, sad, and isolated. You've lost a connection to a person who loves you. In a way, it's like feeling grief when someone dies. You used to be able to enjoy someone, and now you can't. Alienation hits many people and can happen in many different ways. Everyone has felt it at one time or another. Sometimes all it takes to feel alienated is to feel different. You might start to feel alienated from a group that you used to feel part of. Some teenagers feel alienated, cut off from their peers. You may know some students in your school who feel this way. On the news, you may see groups of people protesting a government from which they feel alienated. But the worst kind of alienation is feeling alienated from yourself. This show is about one kind of alienation, parent alienation, when children feel very angry and want to stay away from one of their parents. If you feel this way, you may refuse to spend any time with that parent, and when you do have contact, you might be rude or misbehave. We use 3 terms to describe different degrees of alienation. The first term, disillusioned, is for less severe cases, usually children in the early stages of becoming alienated. Children who are disillusioned still spend time with that parent, but they start rejecting that parent. For instance, when parents get divorced, both have made mistakes, but disillusioned children might blame only one parent. Or they may start to feel disillusioned when a parent gets a boyfriend or girlfriend. The second term is alienated. If you are alienated, you still have contact with your parent, but you don't want to. Alienated children have almost nothing nice to say about the parent they reject. The third term is for the most severe cases, estranged. If you are estranged, not only do you feel alienated, but you no longer have contact with the parent. When children feel alienated from one parent, they often feel very close and loyal to the other parent, called the favored parent. They describe their favored parent as just about nearly perfect. The parent that alienated children don't like is the rejected parent. Alienated children say mainly bad things about that parent. Some rejected parents act so bad that we understand why their children become alienated. For instance, if the parent is often violent or shows little interest in the child, we call this realistic alienation. But if a child used to enjoy being with a parent and doesn't have good reasons for not liking that parent anymore, we call the alienation unrealistic. Even though outsiders may say the alienation is unrealistic, alienated children often insist that their rejection is reasonable, and they blame that parent for all the family problems. Children who are unrealistically alienated usually share their favored parent's negative attitudes about the rejected parent. If this is how you feel, all we ask is that you keep an open mind and be willing to learn more about this problem. Some children figure out what's happening when a parent tries to turn them against the other parent. These children don't like being manipulated and resent parents who badmouth. We call this blowback because a parent's efforts to turn their children against the other parent backfire. In some families, both parents badmouth each other. In fact, some children feel like both parents are acting more like kids than like grown-ups. These children sometimes get so fed up that they end up deeply disappointed in both parents. Now you know the words to understand this problem. Disillusioned, alienated, estranged, to describe how bad the problem is, realistic and unrealistic, to decide whether the bad feelings are justified, favored parent and rejected parent, to know which parent we're discussing, and blowback, to describe children who reject a parent doing the bad-mouthing. You may be wondering what all this has to do with Pluto. For 76 years, Pluto was part of our family of planets. Then one day in 2006, astronomers decided Pluto was not worthy of being considered a planet. One day Pluto was in, the next day it was out. Demoted, disrespected. Sound familiar? Not only does Pluto symbolize alienated parents who have been demoted by their children, it also symbolizes the emotional and physical distance between alienated children and their rejected parents. If you have cast a parent out of your family, or are thinking about this, or someone else thinks it would be okay, we hope this program will give you another perspective. We can't do anything about Pluto, but maybe, just maybe, we can help you get back or keep the family you deserve.